What's up, y'all? It's Ty in this video. Today, we're going to be going over ranking some of the best cornerbacks in college football 25 on a tier list. Talking about how good each and every one of these cornerbacks are, ranking them from S tier all the way down through F tier. Now, again, as we do dive into this thing, I really do appreciate all of the recent support on the channel. You guys are amazing. And again, thank each and every one of you guys for making this possible for me to do. Now, I like mixing these things up so we don't have all of, the top guys back to back to back to back. However, again, sometimes, it will be difficult to mix it all up. So we're going to start off with Rich Tejada. This card stinks. I know it was free for you guys, but he's undersized. He's just not good. Tejada, not very good. Jackson up next. And again, I'm going to look a lot of these cards up because a lot of these cards I don't necessarily know, like Elijah Jackson. 6'1", decent speed acceleration, good change direction, good man, good zone. I have no issues with Elijah Jackson. I think he's C tier. Definitely, a cheaper option for you guys at the cornerback position, but Elijah Jackson can play. Matthew McDoom up next. 92 overall. I don't think the card's too great from what I remember. 5'11", change directions low. He is F tier. Next up, O'Donnell Fortune. Honestly, if you upgrade Fortune, it becomes a lot better, but the base 92 is D tier. Canteen up next. This one's a little bit tougher for Canteen. I don't think the card is horrible. I think he is a kind of tough card to rank, though, when you are talking, about some of the best corners in the game. 93 speed, decent change direction, decent man, decent zone, 5'11". Is he better than Jackson? I don't think much if he is. I'm going to go C tier. Parrish up next. I said I was going to mix it up, and then I ended up putting a lot of these not great guys at the start. 92 speed, 5'11", decent change direction. He's D tier. He's not great, but Parrish is deserving of that D tier. Davison up next. Now, here's the deal. If you don't upgrade Davison, he is still an absolute beast on this game. Now, if you do use your upgrade token on him, he gets 97 speed, 97 acceleration, just becomes way better. And so for a guy like myself, I initially used my token on somebody else. I'm, undoing it, and I'm using it on Davison, who with the upgrade token is S tier. Without it, is still top of A tier. Even without that upgrade token, I'm telling you, he is the real deal. I initially used it on Denzel Burke, but I'm changing things. I'm gonna refund the upgrade, and I'm gonna get my token back. I'm going to sell my Denzel Burke, and I'm picking up Davison. Literally, it's what I'm doing right now. Champ Bailey up next. I think he's A tier. I don't necessarily think Champ Bailey's bad. I just don't think the card is perfect. When I'm looking at some of the top corners in the game, like him compared to, let's say, Davison, he's not quite as good in my opinion. Now, if you play primarily man coverage, obviously Champ Bailey becomes better. I think he is A tier. No real questions asked. Rod Woodson at this stage is tough because I still think he does come with, gold ball hawk, I believe Rod Woodson has. 95 speed, 95 acceleration, way better in man than zone, 6 feet tall. I think I gotta go S because of that gold ability, and I don't even love Rod Woodson, honestly. I'm being honest with you. I don't think Rod Woodson fits my scheme. I do think he's an S tier corner though. Revis up next. I'm gonna go A tier. I still think Darrelle Revis is really solid on this game. Obviously, especially if you are in man coverage, it's where Revis is going to be at his best. Dalen Everett, I'm going to go C tier. I don't have many issues with Dalen Everett. Do I think, he is deserving of anything higher than C tier? Not at this stage, but I think C tier is the right spot for him. He's definitely a fine card you guys can pick up and have fun with. Collins up next. I honestly have no idea what this Collins card does provide for you on the field. Marquis Collins, or Mark Collins, I don't even know how to pronounce it. 5'11", 92 speed, 93 acceleration, good change direction, decent man, decent zone, D tier. Delaney up next. I don't know. I've got to go A tier, or I got to go S tier. But I'm telling you right now, if you play primarily zone coverage, I don't love the card. Now, if you play primarily man coverage, he is probably one of the best corners in the game. If you play primarily man coverage with him having a 6'1 frame, 95 man, 96 speed. Like I said, if you play man coverage, Delaney is a beast. I'm not going to hate on him whatsoever. If you play zone coverage, there's better corners in the game. Still, overall, got to go at that S tier. Lockridge up next. I've got him on my squad. Why? He fits my 3-3-5 tight chemistry. Do I think Lockridge is perfect? No, but I do think for, budget cards, he's going to be one of your best budget corners in the game. I don't think the card's perfect, but I'm telling you right now, if you need a budget corner, good luck finding better than Lockridge. He is a stud as far as budget corners are concerned. Patrick Peterson up next. I've been pretty vocal about Pat Pete. I don't think the card's perfect. I think he is A tier. I think the change of direction leaves a lot to be desired. I think as far as, an overall card, he's good, but I do think there are better options for you guys. A tier. Abney up next. I've got him. The problem I have with Abney is this. He's better in zone than man, but like if you look at the overall card, which I'll show you guys real quick, I just don't know if I can be that high on him. Only 93 speed. Again, good change of direction, good in zone, but he's only 5'11". Like him compared to some of the other top guys we have in the game, it's tough to be that high on Abney. Travis Hunter, corner, 93 overall. I mean, C tier, he's fine, not great. Next up, who is this? Moten? I honestly have no idea what this card gets into whatsoever. Josh Moten, 6'1", good height, decent man, decent zone, change direction, stinks, F tier. This Travis Hunter, it's tough. It's like, where do you put 95 overall Travis Hunter at this stage? I have no idea where I want to put him. 6'1", 95 speed, acceleration, good change direction, 96 man. To me, he's just like a slightly worse Mansour Delane. But I think he does enough to go in that S tier still. It's tough. It's real tough. I'm going to put him at A tier for now. I don't like it, but for now, I am going to put him at A tier. I think, I think that's where he belongs. I don't necessarily, again, love it, but I think that's where he belongs. Benjamin Morrison, C tier at this stage. Now, if you play primarily zone coverage, Morrison is still a stud on this game and needs to be respected. Alpha Khan, I still like Alpha Khan as much as anybody else on this game. I think he is one of your most complete corners still to this day. And whenever I play against Alpha Khan, I feel like I'm boxed. 95 speed, 6'1", 95 change direction, 95 man, 94 man, 95 zone. Good impress. I'm going S tier. I don't care. Harvey up next. I have no idea what Harvey really gets into on the field. I don't. 93 speed, you guys can see there. Good acceleration, good change direction, decent change direction, only 5'11". Does fit that 3-3-5 tight chemistry, so if you need, help there, obviously boost that ×2, which can be impactful. He's just fine, though. Like, I don't know. I don't know what else to say it. He's just fine. I can't hate on the card, but overall, he's just fine, in my opinion, at that cornerback position. Definitely a card you can, have a lot of success with. But again, to me, he is ultimately just fine. Next up, we do see Robinson the fourth. I think B tier's the right option. He's just a solid overall corner. I think is really where I'm at with the card. Not necessarily, gonna do everything perfect on the field, but he's fine. Isaiah Oliver, another B tier option. A lot of these 94 overalls, even if Nate Wiggins is on here, he's B tier as well. Sauce Gardner, I like Sauce. He's mostly zone coverage. He is B tier as well. And so again, a lot of these cards I like, but a lot of these 94s are just B tier. They're not quite the elite of the elite. However, they are really, really solid corners that you guys can trust on the field. And it's just tough because at this stage, it is so important to have elite corners. And so B tier corners, they can compete against the top dogs. But I'm telling you, like the difference between those guys and a guy like, let's say, Mansour Delane, it's pretty noticeable. Pons up next at this stage, F tier. Cooper DeJean is still A tier. And some people might not like it, but he is absolutely still at A tier to this day. There's just not a whole lot of negative things you can say about Coop. Devin Hester, A tier. I don't love the card. I think he's fine. I just don't think, he deserves to be hyped anything more than A tier, honestly, for the card. Dantzler, A tier. Where he belongs at the top. But here's the thing, like, I like Dantzler just as much as I feel like, a lot of these other cards. And so that's the tough part is like, when I'm looking at Dantzler, 95 speed, 97 man, 96 acceleration, 6'2", he's S tier. He is. I mean, I can't put him at A tier. He is S tier. Johnson Jr. up next. I mean, again, I have no idea. A lot of these cards that are 93 and lower, I just really don't know. 5'10", decent in man, bad in zone. I'm going F tier. Clark up next, another card. I know he probably came out, yesterday maybe? Like, he probably didn't come out too long ago. Jordan Clark, 93 speed, 91 acceleration, change directions low, better in zone. He's not great. I'm going D tier. I don't love the card. Charles Woodson at this stage, low A maybe? I mean, the problem with this card is really his speed rating. Like, he came out longer, in 94 speed. Yeah, he's still A tier. He's still pretty solid. Not S tier, but he is still A tier. Schrader up next. F tier maybe. Kaysen is C tier. If you play primarily man coverage, Kaysen is still going to be a really solid option for you guys on the field. I just think, honestly, C tier is the right spot. Trey Amos, I don't know. It's just tough because for me, how do you separate Alpha Khan and Trey Amos? I don't know if you can. 95 speed, 95 jump, 93 change direction, good in man, good in zone, 6'1". I'm going S tier. I don't know if I love it, but a balanced corner, I'm going S tier. Malcolm Jenkins, D tier at this stage. Christian Gray, honestly, I don't know. I don't know because I feel like, what does he have? 93 speed, I'm pretty sure. I feel like, or 94 speed, okay. I still got to go A tier. Pretty similar to a guy like Charles Woodson. Baldwin up next, B tier. The epitome of a 94 overall corner in this game. Will Johnson, S tier. Not much needs to be said on the card. One of the best corners in the entire game. Lattimore up next is extremely good. A tier, though, I think is where I've got to go with him, although I really do like Lattimore. Cam Oliver, S tier as well. One of your better corners in the entire game. Can change your team chemistry to fit that as well. Hector, again, I don't know. These 92s are pretty random in my opinion. Aiden Hector, 92 speed, decent, 6 feet tall. I mean, he's not bad. I actually am going to go D tier. I think he definitely is playable. Oladakan up next, I think is how you pronounce his name. Again, I apologize if I get it wrong. 6 feet tall, horrible in zone coverage. I mean, because of that, F tier. Ashton Stamps is good. I'm going B tier with Ashton Stamps. And honestly, if you have your upgrade token used on him, he becomes even better. Like, I like Ashton Stamps on this game. Comes with 93 base speed, good in man, good in zone. And maybe you can't use your upgrade token on him. I thought you could. Obviously, it doesn't look like you can. But I like this card on Ashton Stamps. He is a beast. B tier. Christian Gray. This is the Christian Gray I was thinking of. C tier for the card. Deion Sanders, prime time. Change direction is just too low. I guess I go C tier. I don't love him. Denzel Burke, I got to go A tier. If you use your upgrade token on Denzel Burke, he does become a lot better. But honestly, if you've got that national championship upgrade token, I would use it on Davison way over Denzel Burke by far. 92 Dantzler, D tier. 93 overall Brown. We'll have to see what he gets into because again, I have no idea for Solomon Brown. 93 speed, good enough change direction, only 5'11". Gonna go D tier with the card. Cone up next. Another card. I literally have no clue what he gets into. So let's see. 93 speed, 92 acceleration. If you play, I'll say this. If you play primarily zone coverage, Cone is actually not bad, so I'm going to throw him at C tier. 93 Dancer, I'm going to go C tier. You could argue B tier probably. And last but certainly not least, Jalen Ramsey. I'm going to go A tier. Again, you could argue a lot of these corners at A tier to go into S tier, but it's just tough. At some stage, you got to have a cutoff point. And I think for me, this is where I currently do have the cutoff point for my for these guys. That's going to wrap it up for our video today. Let me know your thoughts on this down below in the comments. Did I hit it? You know, nail on the head? Who was I too high on? Who was I too low on? And is there anybody I just completely missed on this list? Let me know. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you are new. And as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.